The Magic Shell
by Jungle Theatre Company.
Molweni! When we say Molweni, you guys must say Molweni because it's a greeting.
Let's try it again.
Molweni!
Molweni!
Ewe vapulapule, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen.
We are going to tell you a story, Ibali.
It's a story about how stories began.
It's a Zulu folk tale.
We will be telling you the story in English and isiXhosa.
isiXhosa sounds a bit like Zulu.
Are you all ready?
Say yebo if you are ready.
Yebo! Great!
It all started a long kudala time ago.
Ixesha lamandulo.
So long ago, it was the time when the first woman walked the earth.
And the first man, Indoda Yakuqala.
This first woman's name was Manzandaba. Yebo, and my husband, Zenzele, said Manzandaba.
Yebo mfazi wam. Here I am, my dear wife, said Zenzele, and gave Manzandaba a kiss.
Manzandaba and Zenzele lived in a small traditional Zulu village.
Yebo, they lived in a round hut in a circle of huts around a fireplace.
They had a few nkuku,
said the chickens.
a few ibokwe,
Meh, 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 said the goats.
They had 10 children.
Yo, that's a lot of children. Abantwana abaninzi.
They would spend the day working, basebenza.
Weaving baskets, cooking, chopping wood, and tilling the earth.
Actually, Manzandaba did most of the housework.
Zenzele would carve wooden sculptures and go hunting. Isingela!
Zenzele would carve beautiful birds from driftwood he found on the beach. Their homestead was filled with decorative works by Zenzele the carver.
In the evenings, they would sit around the fire with the whole family.
One night, while they were all staring at the flames in the fire, Zenzele said,
Yo, Manzandaba, it's too dark for weaving and carving, but it's too early to go to sleep.
Suddenly, the children called out, Mama, we want stories.
Tell us some stories, Mama.
Hi, what stories can I tell you, children? Said Manzandaba.
Please, Mama. Sicela amabali, Mama.
Pleaded the children.
Uxolo bantwana, I don't have stories to tell, said Manzandaba.
Aw, Mama. Siborekile,
Said the children.
Manzandaba and Zenzele had no stories to tell.
Babenganalo ibali. It was very boring, and the whole family went off to sleep. The next morning, Zenzele awoke and called out for his wife. Manzandaba! Yiza mfazi wam!
Yebo tata, said Manzandaba.
Mfazi wam, I had a beautiful dream about stories. I dreamt you found stories for our people. Please, will you go and search for stories? Uyo kangela mabali, said Zenzele.
Manzandaba laughed. Who will look after the house and the children?
I will. I will clean, cook, chop wood, collect water, take care of the children. If only you will bring back stories for our people. Ubuye namabali, said Zenzele.
Yo, Zenzele, you will really do that if I go and find stories? Asked Manzandaba.
Yebo, Manzandaba, said Zenzele.
Very well, I shall go and find stories for our people, said Manzandaba.
Enkosi kakhulu mfazi wam. Ndiyakuthanda, said Zenzele.
I love you too, Zenzele, said Manzandaba.
They gave each other a big hug.
Manzandaba took her bag and said goodbye to her children, who were playing games in the sand. Salani kakuhle, bantwana bami.
Aibo, Mama. Ungazishi.
The children protested.
I'll bring back stories, replied Manzandaba.
Uyatembisa, Mama.
Asked the children.
Ewe, I promise, replied Manzandaba.
Okay, Mama. Bye-bye,
Said the children as they waved. Uhambe kakuhle mfazi wam, said Zenzele as he waved goodbye to his wife.
Manzandaba walked out of the village and into the forest singing this song about looking for stories. India hamba, indi sengleleni, indio kangela mabali, yelelelele, yelelelele. Inside the forest, Manzandaba saw beautiful wild flowers and heard birds chirping.
Manzandaba decided to ask every creature she passed if they had stories to share.
The first animal she met was such a trickster,
Nyaga nyaka.
but she thought she'd better ask him all the same. It was Mvundla, the hare.
Mvundla was busy digging a hole when Manzandaba greeted him.
Molo Mvundla.
You! You gave me a fright. Molo Sisi,
Said Mvundla.
Ewe Booty, do you have any stories? Asked Manzandaba.
Stories?
Asked Mvundla.
My people are hungry for tales. Balambila amabali, explained Manzandaba.
Yo, amabali. Yeah, but I have hundreds. No, thousands. No, millions of stories. Oh, dinamakilikili.
Oh, please, Mvundla, give some to me that we might be happy. Nati sivuye.
Would you like to hear a story?
Mvundla made Manzandaba scratch his back, dance for him, and sing for him in exchange for stories.
Yeah, but now we're talking. Here comes a story. Long ago, Kudala ouch! No. Look at the sun. It's too early for stories. I have no time for stories now. Andi Sangoku. Can't you see that I'm busy? Huh? Stories in the daytime. You are out of your mind. Uyampambana wena.
Said Mvundla.
Silly Mvundla, he was lying. He didn't have any stories, cried Manzandaba, and she kept walking and singing. Indio hamba, indisingleleni, indio kangela mabali, yelelelele, yelelelele. Manzandaba was really tired. She found a place to lie down on the soft forest floor.
Ndlovu the elephant appeared, and Manzandaba asked him for stories. Ndlovu answered, Mtana wami, I do not know stories, but I do know the great fish eagle, Ukosi. He is the king of all the birds, Nkosi and Taka, and flies much higher than all the rest. Maybe Ukosi will tell you a story.
Where can I find him? Asked Manzandaba.
I last saw him by the mouth of the great Utugela river, answered Ndlovu.
Thank you very much, said Manzandaba, as Ndlovu moved off into the forest.
Manzandaba sang happily as she kept following the path that led to the beach by the mouth of the Utugela river.
India hamba, indi sengleleni, indio kangela mabali, yelelelele, yelelelele. Finally, Manzandaba emerged from the forest and saw the splendid big blue of the Indian Ocean.
She felt the soft, warm sand of the beach between her toes.
There, she saw the mouth of the Utugela River as it flowed into the sea.
She looked across the waters of the large river mouth and saw Ukosi, the giant fish eagle, circling with his eyes fixed on the water.
Kosi! Kosi! Manzandaba called out but got no reaction from Ukosi.
Let's help Manzandaba call out for Ukozi. Okay? On 3. 1, 2, 3. Ukozi! Ukozi called out.
It worked. Ukozi came flying towards Manzandaba to land on the beach beside her. She noticed Ukozi's large, sharp, golden-hooked beak and glorious black and white feathers.
Ukozi spoke.
I know a creature who has the secrets of the deep, dark ocean. Olwantle, Olunyama, Olunzulu. He is my friend, the giant sea turtle. Ufudo Olwantle.
Ukozi flew along the coast over the sea, and Manzandaba ran after him along the beach.
I see Ufudo, Manzandaba. There, in the waves near the beach. Ufudo will take you to a place where you can find stories, said Ukozi.
Manzandaba ran into the waves towards the giant sea turtle, Ufudo.
As she came closer, she saw the beautiful, colourful patterns all over his large shell.
Ufudo! Called out Manzandaba.
Yeah, boy, replied Ufudo, the giant sea turtle.
Manzandaba greeted. Molo, Ufudo. I am looking for...
Stories. I know, replied Ufudo. I will carry you under the ocean to the land of the spirit people. Isinyanya. Hold on to my shell. Isa, said Ufudo, as he lifted Manzandaba with his flipper high up onto the top of his large shell.
Manzandaba held tight onto the shell. Ufudo paddled with his strong flippers, splashing through the crashing waves towards the deep ocean. Manzandaba had no idea where she was going, but she was singing and having fun. India hamba, indi sengleleni, indio kangela mabali, yelelelele, yelelelele.
Ufudo kept paddling into the ocean, with Manzandaba sitting on top of his shell.
Suddenly, Ufudo plunged his head into the seawater to dive down.
Manzandaba quickly took a deep breath before they went under the water.
Ufudo kept diving deeper and deeper.
Manzandaba was terrified. She would run out of breath under the sea.
It was then that Ufudo said,
Manzandaba, breathe a bubble from under my shell.
Just then, a large bubble of air emerged from under Ufudo's shell, and Manzandaba placed her lips on the bubble to breathe in the air.
To her astonishment, she was able to breathe underwater as bubble after bubble was released.
Ufudo kept diving down until they reached the ocean floor.
Welcome to the underwater world of the spirit people, said Ufudo.
Among the beauty of this underwater world, Manzandaba saw the Spirit King and Queen sitting on their thrones of colorful corals. The king had a long wavy beard and the queen had a crown of colorful shells. The Spirit King spoke.
Welcome to our world, Manzandaba, he said.
Molo mhlonipheki, O great Spirit King and Queen, replied Manzandaba.
We will give you stories in exchange for a picture of your home and your people, said the Spirit King.
So it was that Ufudo lifted Manzandaba onto his shell and they went on their way back home in search of a picture.
Yo, mfazi wam, I can do that. I can carve a beautiful picture in wood for the spirit people in exchange for their stories, said Zenzele.
Manzandaba returned to the underwater world with the carving of their home and their people and gave it to the Spirit King. The Spirit King took the gift and said,
Your husband has talent. What a wonderful piece of art. As promised to you and your people, we will give you the gift of stories.
He reached into a seaweed basket and pulled out a large colourful shell. Yo, Mhlonipheki, Nkosi kakhulu. This is the most beautiful shell I have ever seen, said Manzandaba.
Whenever you want a story, just hold this shell to your ear and you will have your tale, said the Spirit King.
Mhlonipheki, thank you, my king, for your extreme kindness, Manzandaba said as she turned to leave.
Remember, your first story began with your journey down here, said the Spirit King.
Yebo Mhlonipheki, agreed Manzandaba, and she called out, Ufudo!
Ewe Manzandaba, Ufudo replied as he appeared.
Take me home, said Manzandaba, and she sang as she journeyed home. Siyambile, ixesha lide sawafumana amabali. When Manzandaba arrived at the beach, there to meet her was her family and all the people of the village.
She was a star. Waye kwenkwezi.
Sibalisele ibali Manzandaba. Tell us a story, Manzandaba.
Come on, let's join them. Tell us a story, Manzandaba. Tell us a story.
Manzandaba took the magic shell out of her bag and placed it against her ear. Nalibali, here is the story.
Manzandaba announced to the crowd.
Kosi kosi ngansomi,
said Manzandaba, but nobody responded.
When I say Kosi kosi ngansomi, you say Kosi Tomi,
she explained, and tried again.
Kosi kosi ngansomi.
The crowd responded, Kosi Nsomi. And that is how stories began.
Manzandaba told her village all about her journey to find stories. Then after that, she listened to the magic shell and told another story, and then another, and another, and another. She told story after story, and the people sang.
Since then, all our people tell stories, and they will keep telling stories.
For the best way to share a story is to tell it in your own way.
And that's the end of our story.
Phela phela ngansomi. The end.